Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I'm Mercedes with Mental Health Counseling, and today's video we're going to be talking about triggers that we receive in our relationships, whether it is a relationship with a friend or a romantic partner, potential romantic partner, your co-workers, whoever is that person in your life that represents the dynamic relationship that will highlight what is still alive from within you that is not helpful in your programming that we have through our subconscious mind day in and day out. So I'm actually going to use real life examples of understanding our triggers, and that will lead you into having a more peaceful relationship, not only with yourself, but also with your partner, because I shouldn't say partner only, like that person that is making you feel the challenges from within yourself, or is ruffling your feathers, or is, making you feel uncomfortable. It's going to allow you to have a more peaceful relationship, not only with yourself, but with that person, whether it is your boss, a friend, your romantic partner. So this is what we are going to be talking about today. And I have a trigger book, and it's red in color. I just realized that actually, because I don't know, for some reason to me, triggers and red color seem to go hand in hand together, because it's like, not that my triggers cause anger, but it's a flare up of emotions, right? So it's like alive, it's a flare up of emotions. So I usually write out the thing that triggers me. So instead of pouncing on the person, I have to just look within myself and see, what does it actually translate to? Because our perception of reality is always based on the core beliefs that we acquire as children. And that's why it's never truly accurate. And that's why when in counseling, when we have two people coming together in couples therapy, there is no her side and his side, or his side and his side, her side and her side. It's their perception versus their perception, because our perception is not always necessarily the truth. And this is why, and this will save you so many tears and just uncomfortable feelings, even if it's with someone who is not your romantic partner, to be able to navigate how you feel and take ownership and be able to go through that without ruffling your friendship or your relationships or even your day, because you don't stay in that uncomfortable emotion. So example number one. And for me, my dynamic relationship is, or has been, the masculine energy. So these are situations of what masculine has said to me and how I interpret it due to my own wounds, and how that would easily just lead to bullshit as opposed to awareness. Message from masculine: there was an after party that I couldn't miss. My translation: there was an after party that I couldn't miss for you because you are not worthy or enough to be given time and effort to. So literally, that is my translation of a message that said none of that stuff. And my translation of that message is the bullshit based on core beliefs that I acquired as a child, because I had a negative self-view through my anxious attachment style, because I just never received anything else other than criticism. So of course, why would I ever feel that I'm good enough and worthy to be given time and effort to when I've never received that? My body does not recognize anything else as of yet. It has programmed, and through the firing of the signals, that your primary caregiver is not showing up for you, because the child tries to make sense of what is happening to it and is not receiving its safety and security. It tries to make sense of it, and it always ends up thinking that it is its fault. So the child will reprogram itself from being born in unconditional love and thinking that it deserves everything. It will start to think that it's not deserving of that affection, the time, the effort, and it carries on into our adult relationships until we understand what's happening. So now I have two choices. I could freak out on my partner, right? Or I could freak out and start to say things that are aligning with my unhelpful truth of my interpretation, and say things like, you never want to spend time with me. I am always the one that is asking you to spend time with me, because you get scared that, and you get like, your inner child is triggered and it gets scared and anxious, and it goes back into that fight or flight defensive mode, where it's literally translates the situation into danger, you're not wanted, you're not worthy, right? Does that make sense? Like, my interpretation puts my nervous system, my autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic side of it, the sympathetic side of it, it goes into action because it wants to protect me from potential danger of feeling my unhelpful core beliefs, that I'm not enough, that I'm not worthy of time, worthy of effort. And that's one example. Okay, so example number 2. I am going out tonight, and actually that was it. Like, I am going out tonight. Translation in my head. I am going out tonight I guess I translated in my head, like, they're going out again tonight because they don't want to spend time with me. And again, I'm going to be alone, and I'm afraid of being alone by myself at night. Therefore, I go into panic mode, and then I start to, freak out. And then I want them to stay home to appease my fear of being home alone at night because of what took place in my childhood, as opposed to taking responsibility for myself for what happened to me in my childhood, and not projecting it onto my partner, because it's not their job to actually make me feel safety as an adult in my own house at night anymore. I need to take responsibility for that. And it's as simple as that. Like, them saying, I want to go out, or I'm going out, and me translating that into, you don't want to spend time with me, and you're leaving me again. You're leaving me again to be scared at home by myself at night. But in actuality, no one is ever leaving me, because now I'm an adult, and no one can ever really leave me anymore, because I have me, and I will never leave me or my little inner child, because I just have the power to do that now. So when we become conscious of these patterns, it actually prevents us from having a fight with that person, because old Anna would, pretty much freak out and start to say things like, you're always leaving me. You don't ever spend time with me. You're always out with your friends. And then, of course, when I come from this place of attack, I'm not using nonviolent communication. In this moment, I'm using an attacking, it's like an aggressive way of communicating. So the person, instead of being able to hear my thoughts and my feelings, all they're going to want to do is defend themselves. And they're going to want to say things like, that's so not true. I'm not always out with my friends. I do spend time at home. So they're going to want to try to disprove me. But what I could say in that moment to my friend, my partner, or whatever it is, the trigger that it is, you could say, when you tell me that you are going out again for the 3rd time this week, it activates my fear of being alone at home. And therefore, it makes me want to start, screaming at you and telling you that you don't spend enough time with me, and you always end up leaving me alone. So then now your person can actually hear you And their response is going to be completely different. It's going to be like, oh, don't worry, babe. Like, I hear what you're saying, but we have, I'll make sure the cameras are on, or let's get an alarm system, or yeah, maybe I'll try to go out less next week, or whatever it might be. Your person is going to be able to hear your feelings around the fact that's happening, as opposed to hearing your accusations of how they are or not showing up for you in order to appease us and our triggers, which is not the responsibility. Their responsibility is simply to show us what our triggers are, and it's our responsibility to figure out our triggers and heal them. And yeah, so then everything is just more peaceful. And then there's another example, like this one was a really big one. This is like in the beginning of my awakening, and I had we both had taken separate trips on our own. That was, yeah, just before COVID. And I remember now I'm in New York City with my BFF, and I'm in a shoe store, and she's trying on shoes, and I'm talking to my partner, checking in on the children, and I hear the statement of them, again, this is the thing about me and them going out. That's crazy. I hear the statement that they were going to leave our children with one of our parents so they can go out. And then I immediately go into like crazy freak out mode. And I'm like, what is happening right now? So I sit back and I try to understand what my trigger is, and the translation of them saying, yes, I'm leaving our children at our parents' house and I'm going to go out. My thought is, how dare you leave our children with our parents so you can go out and have fun? Because that's something that I cannot do. Like, because I'm a girl, and if in my Greek culture, if my partner is now, say, on a vacation, I don't have the luxury of, or the freedom, or so I was taught, to be able to do that. Like, because if I told my parents, watch my children so then I can go out, that is not acceptable. And then I would have guilt and shame about the way that I was behaving. So then my fear of what I actually want to do in my life, and I'm watching this person do it, my fear of feeling guilt and shame in the same scenario and not gifting this experience to myself makes me want to freak out at my partner because they're able to do it and I'm not. So that's, again, like, that's all that it is. And I don't want to minimize our triggers, but like, once we understand where they're coming from, then we can eliminate so much of the fighting, and then we can just live a more peaceful relationship with ourselves and with that person, and have a more positive outcome in anything. And that goes with your boss too, or anything. Just think about the way that they're making you feel and be able to communicate that to yourself. And then maybe there is a discussion that needs to be had with that person, or you just work it out on your own. And then, yeah, and then that way you do become the untethered soul, like the book from Michael Singer, which I have read, and it's just so great. Like, I want to understand all my triggers and not have these thorns be prickled and make me feel a certain type of way anymore, because it's just so much more better to live in a way where I just don't feel like challenged. My feathers don't get ruffled, although I know that might not be, like, I shouldn't say it's not possible, because everything's possible. Yeah, it's something that might take a short time or a long time. I'm not sure how long it's going to get there, but this is one of my intentions as a conscious human being these days, is to understand my triggers, where they're coming from, be able to heal them. Therefore, I don't project or take it out on other people, because that will never work. And that creates more chaos, more drama in our situations and relationships. And there's no power in that as well, because there's no power in yelling at somebody else for the way that they're making you feel. There's no power in that. There's no outcome because they don't actually know how I'm feeling and they don't even know how to help me with my triggers in the first place. Again, the only thing that they can help us do is just see where our unhelpful core beliefs about ourselves or insecure attachment style still lives within ourselves. And then we can go ahead and start to heal it. Thank you so much again for all your love and support, my subscribers, commenters, like my friends, for supporting me, all the people that have helped me have material. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, because sometimes there's not a lot going on in my life, please, yes, feel free to give me something that you would like me to make a video on. And if you haven't subscribed already, please, I would love for you to do so. If you liked anything about this video, give it a thumbs up. Or you can also hit that notification button in case you want to be notified when I will upload next, because I do it quite often. And again, with all my love and gratitude, I'll see you next time.